House of the Dragon Season 3 comes out in June, and I don't remember anything that happened in the show. So I'm rewatching the first 2 seasons, so you don't have to. This video is recapping episodes 4 and 5, so if you haven't seen my other videos, go watch them and come back. If you have, then why are we wasting all this time? We have a lot to cover, so let's get to it. At the end of episode 3, Viserys sent royal aid to the war in the Stepstones, the crab feeder is no more, Viserys and Alicent have a son and another on the way, and Viserys has demanded that Rhaenyra take a husband, but he told her she can choose who it will be. Episode 4, called King of the Narrow Sea, begins with Rhaenyra holding court as a long line of bachelors, varying degrees of eligibility, vie for her hand. It's been a year since the events of episode 3, she's in Storm's End right now, and she is sick of this. One man is older than her father, one boy is literally 12, and she has no problem saying how inappropriate it is for these lords to be putting themselves forward as contenders for her hand. Lest we forget, Rhaenyra is the best match a man can make in Westeros. Heir to the throne, the realm's delight. Her advisors are trying to steer her towards the most advantageous match, but hold on, it's the 12-year-old's turn to speak. But the other suitors are barely letting him get a word in edgewise, so the 12-year-old pulls a sword and stabs one of the other suitors dead. With that, Rhaenyra has officially had enough. She's deciding to cut her tour short. She has not made a match. She's going home to King's Landing. On the boat, she's looking out on the horizon next to Criston Cole. They sure seem closer than they were a year ago. She asks Criston what he thinks her father will say about her cutting it short, about not making a match. He doesn't answer, which is really an answer in and of itself. As they're approaching King's Landing, a dragon flying fast and low knocks into the side of the boat before rising higher into the skies, speeding towards the Red Keep. It's Caraxes, the bloodworm! Daemon is here. Asshole. Daemon is returning to King's Landing for the first time since his victory over the crab feeder in the Stepstones, and while he was there, he was named the King of the Narrow Sea, and he now wears a crown of his own. You can tell Viserys is silently hyping himself up to receive Daemon, because he has no idea what his little brother is about to do. The whole room, Viserys, Rhaenyra, Otto, Sir Harold, Alicent, everyone is holding their breath as Daemon walks in and bends the knee. He lays the crab feeder's sword at Viserys' feet, telling the Kingsguard to add it to the chair. He takes off his crown and tells Viserys that the Stepstones have been claimed in his name. Literally everyone was surprised. I wasn't. Daemon and Viserys are ride or die for each other. Viserys is like, so if you're here and the Valyrians are back in Driftmark, who's controlling the Stepstones? And Daemon's like, no one. Everyone's dead. And that's that! They hug, the room applauds, happily ever after, show over, let's throw a party. Later, at the party that Viserys is throwing in Daemon's honor, Rhaenyra congratulates Daemon on his victory, and they stare at each other for a little too long. Alicent, maybe Daemon would like to see the new tapestries that have been acquired in his absence. And Viserys, super drunk, is like, oh yeah, Daemon would really like to see those tapestries. Stupid wife. Dude, be nice to her. Viserys, when I catch you. Rhaenyra is like, I'd like to see them alone, leaving Alicent with the men, but Rhaenyra literally just walks 10 feet away to sit by herself on a bench, and Alicent does follow. Alicent's like, so the tour didn't go well, huh? And Rhaenyra is like, yeah, it sucked. And Alicent's like, I'm sure it does suck to have every knight and lord falling over themselves for your hand in marriage. Girl, it's rare that a woman gets 2 options, let alone dozens. It's a little romantic. Rhaenyra's like, they don't like me. They want my station and my Valyrian blood for their kids. It's not romantic to be locked away in a castle and forced to pump out heirs. And that hits home for Alicent, because that's literally her entire life right now. Rhaenyra's like, oops, sorry, I didn't mean it like that. But is my dad mad? Alicent's like, I mean, yes, but I'm glad you're home. I feel like I don't have any friends at court. I'm not a person anymore. I'm just the queen. And Rhaenyra says that she missed her. Maybe they can be friends again. Cut to the courtyard, and Daemon and Rhaenyra are speaking in High Valyrian to each other. Remember, they haven't seen each other in 4 years. She's asking him why he came back. It can't have been just to piss off her dad. What do you want, Daemon? You've changed. He's cagey about the first question, but says that she's changed too. Matured. Growth. Rhaenyra complains to Daemon about being sold off for marriage, but he tells her that marriage is just political, and once she's married, she can do what she wants. Rhaenyra says maybe it's just political for you, but for women, it's a death sentence. And Daemon's like, if marriage were a death sentence for women, I would be free of my dumb wife by now. Rhaenyra's like, your wife is lucky that you haven't gotten her pregnant. And Daemon's like, a child could not grow in such a hostile environment. He hates Rhea Royce. What did she do to him? But all of this connects back to Rhaenyra's trauma surrounding her mother's death, and she says that she will not be subjected to the same fate, having children until it kills her. And Daemon says you can't live your life in fear, you'll miss the best parts. Rhaenyra says she doesn't want to live in fear, just solitude, which Daemon thinks is quite sad. In the small council, they're discussing Corlys Velaryon. He has not been on the small council in some time, and there are rumors that he plans to ally himself with the free cities by marrying Laena to the Sea Lord of Braavos. Sea Lord, Sea Snake, Sea Smoke, I'm getting confused. Bottom line, Corlys is still upset that Viserys married Alicent instead of Laena, and now Viserys needs to smooth things over with the richest house in Westeros. And Rhaenyra is slowly realizing what this means for her. She's walking past Alicent's quarters, and you can just hear baby Aemond screaming and crying as Alicent tries to soothe him. So Rhaenyra decides to live a little. She bids Criston Cole goodnight, and disguised in boy's clothes, sneaks out through a passageway in her chambers to meet with Daemon for a night on the town. This is juxtaposed with Alicent in Viserys' chambers, washing him in his royal tub. Then she's drinking to prepare for later that night. God, poor Alicent. I'm not going to talk about it again, but just know, for all the fun Rhaenyra is about to have, it is all being intercut with Alicent and Viserys doing things together. And Viserys, watch your back. Watch your gross, infected back, because I'm coming for you. I will make you pay for what you did to her. But Rhaenyra is living it up. For the first time, people are ignoring her. She's flying under the radar. She watches a little play that the small folk put on about the birth of Aegon and which heir the chair will bear. Rhaenyra, Daemon, or Aegon. And Rhaenyra realizes in this moment she does not have the support of the small folk. They are primed to rally around a male heir, and this is one of the many hurdles she will face. I hope she takes this to heart and starts hardcore preparing. But nope, she doesn't want to think about that right now. She wants to roleplay being a street urchin, rob a vendor, and have her uncle run after her. She is Usain Bolt running through the streets, and a knight of the City Watch catches her. She's like, Sir Harwin? The hottest knight in the Seven Kingdoms? And he's like, Princess? But then he sees Daemon and decides to be chill and let her go live out her pauper's fantasy. Daemon takes her to a brothel, like the cool uncle that he is, and Rhaenyra sees a lot. Guys, there's no easy way to say this. She starts making out with her uncle. He pushes her against a wall. Clothes start coming off. But at that moment, Daemon grows a temporary conscience for the first time in his life and leaves her, pants down, in a brothel to find her own way home. And go home she does, right up to her chambers, past Criston Cole, who thought she was in her room asleep. She's upset, and he's like, are you hurt? Should I go get the Lord Commander? And she's like, no, please, no. She does that thing where a girl steals a boy's hat to flirt with him, but instead of a hat, it's his knight's helmet. And all of a sudden, Rhaenyra and Criston are alone in her chambers. And what else are they gonna do but suck face? Criston tries to be a gentleman. He's very tortured over the fact that he took these vows to be celibate, but now this princess wants to hook up with him. At the end of the day, he is but a man, and Rhaenyra is the realm's delight. I will cut to black here. Just know that the show does not. God, she's gonna ruin his life. Good for her. Unfortunately, one of Otto's spies clocked Rhaenyra's tea at the brothel, and Otto is a snitch, so he tells Viserys that Daemon was banging his daughter at a brothel. Alicent, who spent the night with Viserys, hears all of this. Viserys is like, well, you were lied to. Have whoever told you this lie brought to me so I can pluck out their eyes. Otto is like, dude, multiple people saw her. And Viserys is like, so you're having my daughter followed? You want her reputation destroyed, so your grandson can be king, is that it? You're not as smart as you think you are, Otto. Get out of my chambers. Yeah, Otto girlbossed a little too close to the sun with this one. Cut to Rhaenyra's chambers. In the morning, Kristen Cole comes in and Rhaenyra's like all giggly, like, come here. And Kristen Cole is like, you've been summoned by the queen. In the courtyard, Alicent demands to know where Rhaenyra was last night because she just heard from her dad that Rhaenyra was having sex with her uncle in a brothel. And Rhaenyra, Oscar-nominated actress, says, what a vile accusation! My queen, my sister! I would never! Daemon never touched me. I swear this to you on the memory of my mother. And with that, Alicent believes her. Rhaenyra is sort of telling the truth, but she's leaving a lot out, on purpose. Viserys summons a very hungover Daemon to the throne room to question him about these allegations. He doesn't even try to deny it. He insinuates that it did happen. He's rolling around on the floor. Viserys is kicking him, saying that Daemon has ruined her and who will marry her now. Daemon will. He'll take her as his second wife and return House Targaryen to its former glory. Viserys is like, I have spent my whole life defending you, and still you're lusting after my throne and my daughter. Go back to your dumb wife in the Vale. For good, I banish thee. Viserys, you already tried this and it didn't work the first time. Whatever. Viserys and Alicent are discussing this, and Alicent goes to bat for Rhaenyra. She says that Daemon must be lying because Rhaenyra would never lie to her. When Viserys and Rhaenyra finally do talk, she says the same thing. Her maidenhood is intact. Viserys says, girl, the truth doesn't matter. It matters what people believe. I gave you the chance to pick a match and you failed, so it's my turn. You'll marry Sir Rhaenor and you will shut up and smile about it if you want to be queen. Rhaenyra says, fine, I'll marry Sir Rhaenor, but Otto Hightower has got to go. He wants to usurp me. He will do anything to make that happen. And since compromise is the spice of life, Viserys does that. He summons Otto, tells him that he knows Alicent was a distraction sent by him when Emma died. He knows how self-interested Otto has been this whole time. Otto's judgment is compromised, hand of the king no longer. The last scene of the episode, Maester Mellos brings Rhaenyra a birth control tonic sent by her father. What a ride! Episode 5 is the last episode with Millie Alcock as Rhaenyra and Emily Carey as Alicent, and what a way for them to go out. This episode rocks. The episode opens with... What's the episode called? Episode 5 is called We Light the Way, and it opens with Daemon's dumb wife, Rhea Royce, riding alone in the Vale. She should not have done that, because Daemon appears and kills her with a rock. R.I.P. Rhea Royce, you actually seemed really cool during your 2 minutes of screen time. Meanwhile, Otto is getting booted out of King's Landing, back to Old Town from whence he came. Alicent meets him at the gates, and she's terrified to be left in King's Landing alone. Otto is like, if you didn't want me to leave, you shouldn't have vouched for Rhaenyra. Alicent is like, none of this would have happened if you hadn't tried so hard to install Aegon as heir. And Otto's had enough. He's like, girl, you need to listen up. The king is going to die. It could be months, it could be years. He will not live to old age. He will die. And if Rhaenyra becomes queen, the realm will not accept her. The only way she will be able to secure her claim is to kill all of your children. Is not your friend, she is your enemy. It is her or your son. So if you want your children to survive, you need to start preparing Aegon for the throne. Alicent is sobbing, and you're again just reminded of how young she is, and now she is completely alone. Otto is right though, Viserys is sick. He's seasick on their voyage to Driftmark. He's just constantly ill, and he will continue to decline as the season goes on. There's no hope for this man. He's not getting better. Alone in King's Landing, while the Targaryens are at Driftmark, Alicent begins a tentative friendship with Larys Strong, Lionel Strong's other son. So it's Lionel, then his 2 kids, Harwin and Larys. Speaking of which, Lionel Strong is now the new Hand of the King. But Larys says that him and Alicent can be friends, especially since Rhaenyra has been so unwell lately. Alicent's like, unwell? She's not unwell. And Larys is like, well, on the same night that your father was dismissed, Viserys had the Grand Maester personally bring a tea to her chambers. I just figured it must have been really serious if the Grand Maester himself went to her chambers. chambers on the order of the king. Rhaenyra, you don't know it, but you have just made an enemy out of Alicent. She now knows that you used the memory of your dead mother to lie to her face. Once the Targaryens arrive at Driftmark, Corlys is petty and refuses to greet them outside his castle. He makes Viserys and Lionel come to his throne room. Rhaenys is excited to see her cousin Viserys, and she notices too that he's not doing too hot. Corlys said it's a shame we're not meeting under better circumstances, given that Daemon's wife Rhea Royce just died. And this is how Viserys learns that Rhea Royce is dead, thrown from her horse in a horrible hunting accident. Viserys doesn't really care though, to be honest. He's come to propose a marriage between Laenor and Rhaenyra. Corlys is like, sure, very excited. Thank you, my king. I just have a few questions. How will succession be handled? Viserys is like, why do people keep asking me this? I'm not joking. Rhaenyra is my heir. She and Sir Laenor's firstborn, male or female, will inherit the Iron Throne after her. Corlys says, cool, cool, cool. And I assume that those children would take their father's last name and be Velaryons. Viserys is like, not so fast. The Targaryen dynasty is not gonna die with Rhaenyra. The children can be Velaryons, but when they take the throne, they will do so under the Targaryen name and banner. Capiche? This is a good enough solution for Corlys, so he accepts. Rhaenys is a little more nervous because A, it would make Laenor a target for everyone who doesn't want to see Rhaenyra become queen, and B, she knows her son, how should I say this, is special friends with Joffrey, his companion knight. Corlys writes off these complaints. He's like, he is young, he'll grow out of the gay, because this means his grandchild is going to be king. While the grown-ups are politicking, Laenor and Rhaenyra are walking the beach. They definitely aren't attracted to each other, but they are friends, and they make a pact to fulfill their marital duties, but to seek pleasure elsewhere. Joffrey and Laenor are super cute together. They're talking later that day, and Joffrey is just thrilled that Rhaenyra has agreed to be Laenor's beard, and he is going to journey back to King's Landing with them to be Laenor's sworn protector. Someone else is not thrilled about this, though, and it's Sir Criston Cole. On the ship back to King's Landing, Rhaenyra tells him that her and Laenor have an arrangement, so her and Criston can keep seeing each other. But Criston is like, or, just spitballing here, you could run away with me to Essos and we could get married? You tell me all the time how you hate your position. We'd be nameless and free and together forever. And Rhaenyra looks disgusted. She's like, dude, you completely misunderstood this. I complain about the duties of the crown, but I am the crown. I'm not giving that up for an idiot and a boat. And Criston is distraught. Criston is like, Princess, I betrayed my vows for you. And now you're not even going to marry me so I can stop feeling guilty about it? Slut! Rhaenyra, you don't know this, but you've just made enemy number 2 out of Sir Criston Cole. He is never going to forgive you for this. Back at King's Landing, Sir Criston Cole is summoned by Alicent. She's here to ask him if he saw and Daemon hook up, but he misunderstands and confesses to sleeping with Rhaenyra. He's like, do it, please, kill me, just make it quick. And she's like, I'll sleep on it, you can go. Girl, come on. Update on Viserys' infection. His entire left arm is decomposing and they're barely trying to stop it. Just like giving Lionel some tonics to administer to ease his pain. They're like leeching him. Viserys confesses to Lionel that he worries he will be remembered as a weak king, that he's grateful for a reign of peace, but a part of him wishes that he had been tested. And Paddy Considine is acting his ass off here. Even I felt bad for him for a second, until I remembered what he did to Emma. Everyone and their mom has arrived in King's Landing for the royal wedding. The Lannister twins, whose names I definitely remember. The Hightowers, others probably. It's the welcome feast, and Alicent is noticeably late. All the Velaryons come to serve. Every single look is amazing. They're eating. Laena looks amazing. I might use this picture every single time she's mentioned in the future, even when they use a different actress, because she just looks that good. Daemon arrives fashionably late, and Viserys is clearly upset to see him, but offers him a chair at the Targaryen table anyway, before giving a speech about the triumph of uniting 2 houses of old Valyria, before he is interrupted by Queen Alicent. I'm telling you right now, this is the hardest she's ever going to serve. Since she got married to Viserys, she's been exclusively wearing red, the color of House Targaryen, and at this wedding feast, she shows up in the most beautiful green dress that has ever green dressed. I mean, come on. Larys remarks to his brother Harwin that when Old Town calls their banners to war, the tower beacon glows green. This is not just a fashion choice. It's a statement to everyone in that room. She may be married to a Targaryen, but her allegiance lies with House Hightower, with her family and her children, and she is willing to fight for them. And Old Town will fight for her. The music swells, it rocks. She tells Rhaenyra, "Congratulations, daughter." So yeah, they are no longer friends. But we don't have time for that. We have a party to get to. Laenor and Rhaenyra have their first dance together, and guys, it's really cute. I think everything's gonna be okay. Never mind, Rhea Royce's cousin confronts Daemon and accuses Daemon of killing her. Daemon is like, "You can't prove anything. Plus, we had no children, and Lady Rhea was the heir to Runestone, so after the wedding, I'm flying to the Eyrie and petitioning Lady Jane myself. I'll see you there, cousin." And he hops up to go dance with Laena. I would too. Joffrey and Laenor are talking, and Joffrey has clocked that Criston Cole is obsessed with Rhaenyra. It's clear that Joffrey thinks they are kindred spirits, both hooking up with royalty on the sly, and he is woefully incorrect. Joffrey sidles up to Criston Cole and is joking about how they're both side pieces, and he should not have done that, because Criston is literally so tortured over breaking his vows that he loses his shit and beats Joffrey to death in the middle of the festivities. Chaos breaks out. Laenor is beside himself. Rhaenyra is almost run over by the crowd, but who comes to save her? The strongest, hottest knight in Westeros, Sir Harwin Strong. We'll see more of you later. Now that this tragedy has struck, the festivities are over, and they just decide to get it over with and have the ceremony. Both Laenor and Rhaenyra covered in blood, the love of Laenor's life dead. Just a sad, sad wedding. The episode ends with Criston attempting to kill himself in the courtyard, but Alicent stops him. What a downer ending. And that was episodes 4 and 5. Super depressing. Anyway, I'm sure that it can only get better from here. Thanks for watching. I'm Sophia Lynch. I have music out under that name on all streaming platforms, including this very YouTube channel. And please make sure to like the video if you'd like me to keep making these, or even if you just made it to the end. Kisses. Thank you so much. And I will see you for episodes 6 and 7.